everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Amanda Pliska, and today we're tackling a really important question for federal employees as they retire, which is what's the best strategy when deciding to enroll in Medicare Part B when already having FEHB coverage? Should they just forgo Medicare Part B and carry only FEHB in retirement, or have dual coverage with both FEHB and Medicare Part B? Now, this can feel confusing, but it's one of the most important healthcare decisions you'll make in retirement. So in this video, we'll break it down and look at the pros and cons and what to expect if you forgo Medicare Part B and what the cost could be comparatively. So let's start with the basics. What happens to your FEHB when you retire? The good news is you keep it. As long as you've been in FEHB for the last 5 years before retirement, your coverage continues for life. And your premiums don't suddenly jump up. They'll come right out of your FERS annuity, just like they came out of your paycheck. You can also keep the same benefits and provider networks, and every open season, you still have the chance to switch plans if your needs change. So the big question is not whether you'll have FEHB, it's how you want to combine it with Medicare. And at 65, you have three main choices. The first is just keep FEHB only. The second is keep FEHB and add Medicare Parts A and B. And last, which we don't recommend, so we'll focus on the first two, is drop FEHB and add both parts of Medicare. Now, almost everyone signs up for Part A because it's free. So the real question comes down to this. Do you stick with just FEHB or do you pay for Part B as well? So let's look at the FEHB only path first. If you don't add Part B, you'll keep your FEHB plan and use it just like you did before. You'll pay deductibles, copays, and coinsurance under your plan. And FEHB has an annual out-of-pocket maximum that protects you from catastrophic expenses. But your actual costs will depend on a few things, like whether your doctor participates in Medicare and whether they're in your FEHB preferred network, which we'll cover in the next slide, and also how often you need care. For healthy retirees who don't go to the doctor often, FEHB only can be the lower cost option. And here's how it usually plays out. With your FEHB only, your premiums are lower, but you face more unpredictable costs. And with FEHB plus Part B, your premiums are higher, but your costs are much more predictable and usually lower if you need a lot of care. So the math really depends on how healthy you are and how often you use medical services. And what happens on the other side if you add Part B? In this setup, Medicare becomes primary insurance and FEHB secondary. And here's the great part. Many FEHB plans actually waive most of their cost sharing when Medicare is primary. That means your out-of-pocket costs can drop significantly. Plus, you can see any provider that accepts Medicare, giving you much more flexibility if you travel or move. And the trade-off? Cost. Part B has a premium a month per person, and it can cost a higher premium if your income is above certain thresholds. So for a couple, that could be several $1,000s a year in extra premiums. And also, here's where it gets a little tricky. If you choose to keep FEHB only without Medicare Part B, you'll still have protection through your plan's maximum out-of-pocket limit, but costs can run higher until you hit that cap. And what you actually pay depends on two things: whether your doctor participates with Medicare and whether they're in your FEHB network. If your doctor is both in network and takes Medicare, you usually just pay your standard copays and coinsurance. But if they're out of network or don't take Medicare at all, your share of the bill can climb quickly, sometimes up to 115% of the Medicare approved rate. So the trade-off with FEHB only coverage is that you carry more financial risk if you want the flexibility to see doctors outside the sweet spot of your plan's network. And when it comes to deciding whether or not to enroll in Medicare Part B, there are really four key questions you need to ask yourself. First, your health status. Do you have chronic conditions or expect to need frequent medical care? If so, having Part B can reduce your out-of-pocket costs. Second, your budget flexibility. Can you comfortably afford the extra monthly Part B premiums in addition to FEHB premiums, or would that stretch your budget? Third, your travel needs. Do you want the flexibility to see providers nationwide, or are you mostly staying local within your FEHB network? And finally, your risk tolerance. Do you prefer predictability of paying higher premiums but lower costs when you use the care, or are you comfortable with more cost variability in exchange for lower monthly premium? There's no one size fits all answer here, but if you work through these four questions honestly, you'll have a much clearer sense of what option may be best fit for you. So, what's the bottom line? The good news is, federal and retirees are in one of the best positions in the country when it comes to healthcare. Whether you stick with FBHB only or add Medicare Part B, you'll still have strong protection. The real question is, do you value lower premiums or do you value lower and more predictable out-of-pocket costs? So thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe for more federal retirement planning strategies. And also visit our website for more resources. You'll find our information in the description box below. Or on the screen, you'll see two QR codes. The first takes you to our website to get more information on our firm and process, and also to schedule a no-cost retirement readiness consultation. We'll learn more about your situation, goals, and needs, and share how our firm can help. And the second takes you directly to our YouTube channel, so you can subscribe and stay up to date with our latest content. Until next time, take care and stay informed.